How does someone born into a modest Mexican-American family in Albuquerque rise to win the attention of NFL stars, Hollywood insiders, and ultimately the wealthiest man alive? Is it a story of genuine love, or the most calculated pursuit of power in modern memory? That answer, as you'll see, only becomes clear once the entire journey is revealed. Lauren Wendy Sanchez came into the world on December 19, 1969, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Her upbringing was far from glamorous. Her father, Ray, worked as a flight instructor and mechanic, teaching others to master the skies above New Mexico. Her mother, Eleanor, held a government job as a clerk, before moving into local politics as an assistant to the deputy mayor of Los Angeles. That transition from small city politics to the inner circle of a major metropolis would quietly foreshadow Lauren's own trajectory. Money was scarce, but ambition wasn't. From her father, she absorbed discipline and precision, lessons rooted in aviation, but applicable far beyond it. From her mother, she learned how to read people and understand the subtle mechanisms of power. Those early teachings gave Lauren a survival kit that she would later sharpen into tools for climbing some of the most exclusive ladders in America. By high school, her instincts were already visible. At Del Norte High in 1987, classmates named her biggest flirt, a label that hinted at her future ability to disarm, charm, and captivate. Even then, she preferred the company of athletes and popular boys, suggesting she already understood that social positioning often created more opportunities than grades or academic recognition. She also struggled with dyslexia, which made school difficult, but instead of being defined by that challenge, she leaned into her two strongest traits: a natural charisma in front of the camera and a magnetic ability to make anyone, whether a teacher, a peer, or later, a celebrity, feel like the most important person in the room. These weren't just party tricks. They were survival skills that, when applied strategically, became the foundation of her rise. Lauren chose to study communications at the University of Southern California, placing herself right where sports, media, and Hollywood intersected. While there, she became engaged to Rory Marcus, the well-known play-by-play announcer for the Los Angeles Angels. Rory was 2 decades older, financially stable, and deeply connected in the world of professional sports. Their relationship gave Lauren both security and access, granting her an introduction in a network of broadcasters, athletes, and sports insiders. She appeared at baseball games, charity events, and private dinners, learning to navigate elite spaces with confidence. But after graduation, the relationship fizzled. Insiders whispered that Lauren had grown restless, preferring the glamour of athletes and Hollywood players to the steadiness of a seasoned broadcaster. Rory remained behind in the press box, while Lauren looked toward brighter light. He would later die tragically of a heart attack in 2010, never knowing just how far his former fiancée would climb. By 1996, Lauren's focus shifted from broadcasters to the athletes themselves. At Super Bowl Texas, she met Denver Broncos star Anthony Miller. He embodied everything she had come to associate with success: fame, wealth, and a commanding presence. Their relationship lasted 4 years, including nearly 2 years engaged. Lauren became a fixture at team events and high society gatherings, learning the etiquette of an NFL partner. She understood the delicate balance of being supportive while carving out her own identity. This period cemented her ability to walk confidently in the dual roles of career-driven reporter and glamorous companion. But in 2000, the engagement collapsed. Miller accused Lauren of infidelity, a claim that was never fully substantiated, but left a mark on her reputation. For the first time, whispers of betrayal attached themselves to her name, creating a narrative that would follow her into future romances. Shortly after, Lauren was rumored to be involved with Los Angeles Lakers point guard Derek Fisher, one of the most respected players of his era. Fisher was different from Miller, intelligent, strategic, and defined more by championships than flash. Though neither confirmed the relationship, the two were photographed together at games, restaurants, and private parties. This period revealed Lauren's evolving playbook. Instead of anchoring herself to long-term commitments too early, she built a series of high-profile associations that expanded her credibility. The names attached to her became stepping stones, lifting her further into the orbit of celebrities and power brokers. Perhaps the most pivotal connection of this chapter was with Tony Gonzalez, Kansas City Chiefs tight end and future Hall of Famer. Their relationship overlapped with her time around Fisher, showing Lauren's willingness to manage multiple high-profile bonds simultaneously. In February 2001, she gave birth to her son Nico, Tony's child. The timing could not have been more strategic. Gonzalez was at the peak of his career, his name etched into NFL history as one of the greatest to ever play his position. Having his child bound Lauren permanently to his world, regardless of whether the romance survived. But it was rocky. Tony valued privacy. Lauren leaned toward the spotlight. The two eventually split in 2002, reportedly on poor terms. Still, Lauren demonstrated remarkable foresight. Over the following years, she repaired the relationship for the sake of their son, ultimately transforming an ex-partner into an ally. By 2010, they had achieved a functional co-parenting relationship. By 2020, they appeared at events together seamlessly. And in 2023, Lauren even called Tony and his wife "my best friends," with the trio later photographed vacationing together aboard Jeff Bezos's yacht. This ability to maintain strong ties with former partners, turning romantic history into lifelong alliances, proved to be one of her most powerful strategies. After Gonzalez, Lauren shifted focus from athletes to Hollywood. She briefly dated Henry Simmons, star of the hit show NYPD Blue. Their appearances together at premieres and Lakers playoff games in 2002 and 2003 brought her into the entertainment industry in a new way. Henry wasn't the wealthiest man she'd dated, but he offered visibility. The paparazzi followed him everywhere, and by extension, through Simmons, Lauren met producers, agents, and actors who would later shape her media career. At the same time, she was developing her own professional identity as a television anchor and reporter, sharpening her on-camera skills. This period marked the beginning of her serious journalism career, a career that, in time, would earn her an Emmy and establish her as more than just the partner of powerful men. By 2005, Lauren Sanchez's trajectory brought her into the orbit of Patrick Whitesell, one of the most influential figures in Hollywood. As co-head of William Morris Endeavor, Whitesell wasn't just a wealthy man. He was a gatekeeper of the entertainment industry. His role meant he could shape careers, control access to lucrative deals, and command the loyalty of A-list celebrities. Recently divorced and emotionally available, Whitesell was drawn to Lauren's rare blend of on-camera polish, charm, and magnetic presence. For her, he embodied a trifecta she had long sought: money, power, and entry into the most exclusive circles in America. Their wedding in Santa Barbara was a display of wealth and influence that permanently anchored Lauren in the Hollywood elite. The ceremony reportedly cost around $2 million and was held at the San Isidro Ranch, with a guest list that included Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, and Hugh Jackman. Lauren herself joked about seating Damon and Affleck together, showcasing not just comfort, but confidence in navigating these circles. She had fully arrived in the world she'd spent years preparing to enter. Lauren and Patrick went on to have 2 children together, Evan in 2006 and Ella in 2008. The children grew up in privilege, attending prestigious schools and jetting between Los Angeles, Europe, and private islands on family trips. Lauren curated much of this life publicly through carefully chosen social media posts, reinforcing her identity as a Hollywood wife and mother. But her approach to motherhood was also strategic. The children secured long-term ties to Whitesell's fortune, ensuring that no matter what happened to their marriage, her financial foundation was solid. She had now advanced beyond relationships with athletes or actors. Her position was secured at the executive level of Hollywood itself. Ironically, it was Whitesell himself who facilitated the introduction that would alter Lauren's life forever. In 2016, during a holiday party celebrating the Amazon Studios' release of Manchester by the Sea, Lauren met Jeff Bezos. Their first interaction centered around aviation and technology, 2 areas of deep personal passion for both. At the time, Lauren had just founded Black Ops Aviation, a company designed to provide aerial filming services for films, television, and corporate projects. This venture not only demonstrated entrepreneurial initiative, but also offered her a professional justification to interact with Bezos. Through his aerospace company, Blue Origin, Bezos hired Lauren's firm to capture aerial footage, creating a business context that shielded their growing closeness. The partnership gave them time together in helicopters above Los Angeles, Seattle, and West Texas. These flights served a dual purpose. Professionally, they produced valuable footage. Personally, they provided a private space, away from prying eyes, where Bezos could face his well-known fear of helicopters with Lauren at his side. Her calm demeanor, piloting expertise, and technical knowledge distinguished her from the women usually seen in his social circle. She wasn't just beautiful. She was competent, ambitious, and equipped to share in his obsessions. By 2018, Lauren was balancing a precarious dual existence. Publicly, she remained Patrick's wife, attending premieres, hosting dinners, and managing the image of a stable Hollywood power couple. Privately, her bond with Bezos deepened into a full romance. Encrypted messages, clandestine meetings, and careful logistical planning defined their day. Bezos began sending her intensely intimate messages, later exposed by the National Enquirer, that revealed not only physical passion, but also detailed discussions of a shared future. He spoke of love, desire, and plans for travel, collaborations, and life after divorce. When Bezos announced his separation from Mackenzie Scott in January 2019, Lauren was already prepared. Behind the scenes, she had quietly consulted lawyers, financial advisors, and PR experts to determine the timing of her own divorce filing. On April 4, 2019, just one day after Bezos finalized his separation, Lauren filed for divorce from Weitzel. The timing was no accident. It ensured that she would never appear abandoned or uncertain. Instead, the coordination underscored her ability to manage legal, financial, and public relations challenges with precision. The greatest scandal of this chapter, however, did not come from tabloids or paparazzi, but from within Lauren's own family. Her brother, Michael Sanchez, had long been her closest ally, her publicist, manager, and confidant. For years, he had guided her image, helped negotiate opportunities, and stood beside her as she pursued powerful men. Together, Lauren, Michael, and Bezos even discussed ways to manage the inevitable scandal once their romance was revealed. At one point, they considered forming a company that could purchase American media, the parent company of the National Enquirer, as a way of neutralizing potential threats. But in July 2018, someone leaked intimate texts and photographs from Lauren's phone to the National Enquirer. Investigations later alleged that Michael had accepted $200,000 for the material. Though he denied leaking the most damaging evidence, the rupture between siblings was catastrophic. He began publicly questioning her judgment, accusing her of being reckless with sensitive information. For Lauren, this betrayal was unforgivable. She later stated in court filings that her brother had secretly transmitted her most personal information, shattering their bond. The fallout extended beyond Michael. Their mother, Eleanor, sided with him, creating a fracture in the family that has yet to heal. By the time Lauren married Bezos in a $500 million Venetian ceremony attended by hundreds of world leaders, billionaires, and celebrities, both her mother and brother were conspicuously absent. The empty seats were a stark reminder of the personal cost of her ascent. The question of who truly leaked the affair remains debated. One theory points to Saudi involvement. Reports claim Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman hacked Bezos's phone in retaliation for coverage of journalist Jamal Khashoggi's murder by The Washington Post. A UN investigation later said there was reasonable certainty of Saudi participation. Another theory emerged in 2021 when journalist Dylan Howard alleged that Patrick Weitzel himself orchestrated the leak to protect his assets and reputation before William Morris Endeavor's IPO. According to this version, the exposure of Lauren's affair created the perfect pretext for a clean break. Meanwhile, Michael Sanchez continued to insist he wasn't responsible for the most sensitive leaks, though he admitted accepting payment for related material. His lawsuit against Bezos for defamation ultimately failed, and Bezos now seeks more than $1.7 million in legal fees from him. By the late 2010s, Lauren Sanchez had achieved what few imagined possible, transitioning from a middle-class childhood in Albuquerque to marrying the world's richest man. Her ascent was marked by sharp strategy, leveraging relationships, demonstrating professional skill, and maintaining social resilience in the face of scandal. Yet her success came with deep personal loss. The estrangement from her brother and mother illustrated the cost of ambition, a price that wealth and status could not erase. Her story embodies both triumph and warning. The higher one climbs, the fewer people remain from the beginning of the journey.